What's in the boxes? Stop talking about the fact that he's got boxes. What's in the boxes? Is it plans for a war with Iran?
What's in the box?
Hello there, you 6.4 million awakening wonders. Thanks for joining us in this voyage to truth and freedom. In order to get there, we're going to require an understanding of the land, for the map indeed is not the territory. We live in a world where people will censor Trump's post-arraignment speech. Also, we're fetishizing the fact that Trump has got these boxes. How dare he take those boxes? It's a transgression. It's awful. We can't have the contents of those boxes revealed. Why? That would give the Russians or the Chinese or whoever we are supposed to hate this week a terrible advantage in their ongoing potential perennial war against us. Or is there a possibility, and just let me know in the comments if you agree, that contained within Trump's boxes are plans for a war against Iran, has been alleged in some quarters? If that's true, that's more important and indeed chimes quite nicely with the previous revelations under Cheney, Bush et al. There was a global imperialist plan for the next American century to invade Iraq. Done. Afghanistan, done. North Korea, working on it, and Iran. Let me know in the comments where you stand on this story. And let's have a look, first of all, to get us started, let's have a look at MSNBC's decision not to broadcast Trump. They have such a complex relationship with Trump, don't they? Oh, we've got to show Trump, but not too much Trump. Can't we just cut off a bit of Trump and have it in the corner when we're talking about how bad Joe Rogan is or something? We just need a bit of Trump, but not too much Trump. There's always the mainstream Trump tipping point. You know, guys, I don't think Trump's the solution to your problems. I know loads do. Let me know in the comments. But they need enough Trump because no one will watch us if we don't show Trump, but not too much Trump. He's bloody appealing. The Trump paradox.
Now, tonight, after his arraignment on federal felony charges, he's speaking again, this time to an audience of his supporters that's gathered for a campaign fundraiser tonight at his golf club and summer home in New Jersey. We knew heading into this that he was planning to make these remarks. We are prepared for his pre-fundraiser remarks tonight to again be essentially a Trump campaign speech. Because of that, we do not intend to carry these remarks live.
I can't. We cannot trust you to judge Trump for yourself. It's mad, isn't it? What they say about Trump. This guy is so alluring. If you hear him, it's going to blow your mind. I mean, it's pretty funny and stuff, but I think I can sort of like keep a clear head. I'm not like going all doe-eyed and giddy. Tell me what to do, boss. It's extraordinary, isn't it? Because we know that MSNBC's attitude to censorship fluctuates. They were very happy to carry certain messages around the vaccines, which have since been plainly, objectively, scientifically disproven. You know how they covered Russiagate, the idea that Trump, who they're plainly obsessed with, was peed on and that he essentially was an agent for Russian interests. That's been disproven. It was never credible, and they were happy to carry that all the time. So when Maddow talks about the responsibility of the media to convey truthful information, it's just, isn't it the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard? Is there anyone now alive that thinks that the mainstream media isn't essentially there to amplify their preferred perspective and ignore information that contradicts it? That's what they do, isn't it? If they're right-leaning, they'll amplify Republican messaging. If they're left-leaning, they'll amplify Democratic messaging. No one will amplify this message. You cannot trust either of those parties. They're both owned by corporate interests that are globalist in their nature. If you don't demand decentralized democracy, your lives and the lives of your children will be a form of mediated penury and slavery.
As we have said before in these circumstances, there is a cost to us as a news organization to knowingly broadcast untrue things.
The idea that the media is responsible and conveys information on the basis of its veracity is simply untrue. It conveys information that is expedient. The objective is use Trump to increase views, but not so much Trump that the Democrats don't win the next election. We want the Democrats to win because, Rachel Maddow, who I keep telling you I think is a nice person who I actually like, appears at Lockheed Martin funded events. The world has gone all unusual. In the 1980s, would it have been plausible that a military-industrial complex company like Lockheed Martin, who make missiles that blow up kids, could sponsor gay pride? Because the idea behind the LGBTQ plus movement is tolerate and love everyone. You can't have a weapons manufacturer sponsor that. It doesn't make sense. And yet, MSNBC and CNN are willing to platform pundits to speak about war, in particular the Ukraine-Russia conflict, that have ties to Lockheed Martin and Raytheon without declaring their credentials. You know this is a very common phenomenon. They're presented as military experts. Oh, I think there should be a war. And why do you think there's a war? Because I sell stuff that goes through the roof in wars. And when I say go through the roof, I mean it goes through the roof, into the living room, blows up a whole wedding party. Many of the retired military leaders employed by networks like MSNBC as paid contributors have secondary affiliations that are rarely, if ever, mentioned, leaving viewers in the dark about whose interests they're promoting. None of the leading networks makes a regular practice of announcing its military analysts' financial ties to the Pentagon, connections that could colour their on-air comments. During its Ukraine coverage, MSNBC failed to include disclosures when the network invited on former Homeland Security expert Jay Johnson, who serves on the board of directors at Lockheed Martin, the world's biggest defence contractor. This military-industrial complex agenda becomes significant again when you contemplate what's in the boxes. Stop focusing on Trump and how bad or crazy or brilliant and fantastic you believe him to be and figure out what is in there, because there is at least one fairly legitimate claim that plans for an American war against Iran is in those boxes. So you will be able to observe, perhaps over the coming months, how agitation with Iran begins, escalates until it's necessary because of humanitarian crises to go to Iran. I feel like we've seen this playbook before.
We are here to bring you the news. It hurts our ability to do that.
We can't advocate for war if people keep saying war is bad and kills children. So we're just going to get people on that work for Lockheed Martin who won't talk about that.
If we live broadcast what we fully expect in advance to be a litany of lies and false accusations, no matter who says them.
What? No matter who says them. Oh my God. Hunter Biden laptop. Hunter Biden laptop. Let me know in the comments which thing that CNN and MSNBC have ignored is agitating you most in that moment. We can't fund this without adverts from Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman. I just want to say, sometimes it's worth having a war just to see how good their missiles are. Oh, the way, whoo, all over. Like, it doesn't matter who it blows up. Try not to think too much about that. Enjoy this bit. Woo, that bit. Don't worry. Oh no, they're just like us. Don't think about that. No, it's not for them. It's for probably some other sort of company, which I pray don't benefit from wars. Harvard Health Review researched why people take supplements. The top response was hope. They hope, these poor bastards. Vitamin and mineral supplements will help overcome a lifetime of poor diet and exercise, and they hope they might offset family health issues. There is little evidence that the vitamin and mineral supplements we take are anything more than placebo. From 22 clinical trials comparing multivitamins to placebo, the health of the multivitamin group was no better than the placebo group. 5 servings of fruit and 5 servings of vegetables per day is linked to lower mortality, lower cases of cancer, reduced risk of high blood pressure, osteoporosis, cardiovascular disease, and respiratory disease. Field of Greens provides a full spectrum of the essential vegetables and fruits our bodies need for proper nutrition. Field of Greens is an organic superfood. It's the whole fruit and the whole vegetable, all in there, every little bit of it. Field of Greens is the only fruits and vegetable brand backed by a better health promise. Field of Greens promises you'll feel healthier fast. But the greater proof comes during your next physical, when your doctor checks your lab results and goes, "Hey, baby, I don't know what you're doing, but keep it up. Let me get you started with 15% off your first order, plus free fast shipping. Visit brickhouserussell.com and use promo code BRAND. That's brickhouserussell.com, promo code BRAND. This is by Branko Markovic, the great left-wing writer, writing in the left-wing organisation Jacobin. So if you're a person who's like traditionally Republican or right-wing or libertarian or independent, let me know in the comments. Listen to this. This is from the left. This is one of the things, like with me. Oh, he's a conspiracy theorist. He's right-wing. I'm not. The case of Donald Trump's latest indictment has monopolised national attention the past few days, with a broad range of commentators expressing outrage and condemning Trump for potentially compromising US nuclear secrets, weapons capabilities, defensive vulnerabilities, and plans for waging war on Iran. Wait, war with Iran? Yeah, hold on. Are we supposed to be having a war with Iran? Oh, yes, it's war with Iran now. What? I thought it was Iraq. We done that war. But Iran? Yep, Iran. But I don't know, is it none of our business? It's our business. Why? I don't know, they're being mean. I was like, look, we're just having a war with Iran. Like, are you a conspiracy theorist? No, it's just like you're just suddenly saying you're going to war with Iran. Who's going to pay for it? Just mind your own business. Is it literally my business? Yeah, it's literally your business. Between 30 and 50% of all your earnings are going to fund this war, actually. Yes, in a detail that's been almost entirely glossed over, central to this case are a set of secret government plans for attacking Iran. Other than as a pure factual matter or to stress how recklessly Trump treated classified information, this has been little remarked upon. Just for a moment, think about that. Like, what we're focusing on is Trump took them boxes, that's bad, it's classified information. Okay, full stop. What's in the boxes? Oh, all, we're going to have a war with Iran. Do you want a war with Iran? Well, actually, no. I don't see how that's going to help at all. Well, we'll just keep telling you stuff until you do want a war with Iran. It's good because of independent media like this and because of Branko Markodich's writing, we're able to tell you now, and in fact, you'll be able to watch this unfold. You'll be able to see, you'll watch the mainstream media. Iran are bastards now. We can watch it unfold in real time. That's why they're trying to shut down stuff like this, obviously. The issue stems from Trump's apparent frustration with what he claimed was a false narrative being pushed by the press that after losing the 2020 election under the advice of then Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
You're always going on about Benjamin Netanyahu. Let it go, Lynn. You're never going to meet him.
Who was briefly removed from power before returning last November, and the coterie of Iran hawks he'd surrounded himself with, Trump was dangerously close to ordering strikes on Iran that could have triggered full-scale war and had to be talked down from it by Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Mark Milley. According to the indictment in a recorded interview Trump gave at his New Jersey golf club in July 2021 to a writer and publisher working on an upcoming book, the former president maintained the reality of the situation was the exact opposite, that it was Milley and the Pentagon who were pushing for an attack on Iran on a reluctant Trump, and that the classified documents he kept were proof of this. That sounds very Trumpy to me, doesn't it? Like, I'm keeping those boxes. Also, you know that the Pentagon and their partners in the military-industrial complex require ongoing war. If you're an ice cream salesman, you like a nice, long, hot summer, right? Specifically, Trump showed them a pages-long set of plans for attacking Iran that he said were independently drawn up by the military and presented to him. Sir, we've got these plans for attacking Iran. Why? Good for business? I'll keep that. While the Washington Post's Philip Rucker and Carol Leonig's book, I Alone Can Fix It, alleges that Milley told a confidant that he viewed preventing war with Iran before the 2021 inauguration as one of his missions, it also depicts Milley as one of the advisors urging on Trump's drone assassination of Iranian Quds Force commander General Qasem Soleimani. New York Times reporter Peter Baker's own reporting on that assassination at the time didn't depict Milley in the best light, as he justified the reckless strike on the basis of reportedly vague intelligence about threats that actually didn't come to pass. Oh, there's probably going to be some attack. Oh no, what should we do? I don't know, go to war with Iran? Where's them attacks? I don't know about them now, sorry, I forgot about that. This comes in the midst of years of ratcheting up tensions between not just Iran and the United States, but maybe more dangerously, Iran and Israel. Yeah, that doesn't sound good. The latter's government has been pushing the Biden administration to take a more aggressive posture toward Iran for years, pressure that has been ratcheted up under Netanyahu's current hardline government, which has carried out its own strikes inside Iran and done several major and threatening joint exercises with the US military, including one just last week. Oh no, it's this again, isn't it? That's why it always starts. We're just doing this military exercise. Is it above someone else's airspace? Yeah, it's above their airspace. Like, they always say stuff like, a Chinese warship got in our way. Where were you? China? Hey, one of our drones got knocked down by Russians. Where were you? Russia? Stop bothering people in their own countries and then saying it's their fault. More recently, the Discord leaks of Pentagon intelligence revealed that the CIA itself doesn't know how serious Israel is about its threats to attack. Even so, the White House has signalled it would approve of whatever Israel decides to do, even if Israel ends up sparking a regional war or even drags the United States into the fray. The existence of US war plans for Iran suggests it wouldn't take much for Israeli attacks to draw the United States into yet another disastrous war, particularly if Iran retaliates, particularly if it winds up killing Americans in the process, whether intentionally or not. If I had plans here to smash up Tim Pool's studio, would you think, oh, I wonder if, they're gonna smash up Tim Pool's studio? Oh no, these are... Who gave you that? You shouldn't even have been looking in that box, my Tim Pool smash up his studio plans. That's between me, you fascist conspiracy theorist pig. Go and smash up Tim Pool's studio. We're doing this to protect you from Tim Pool. Any such war would be a calamity, not just for innocent Iranians. Who cares about them? But around the world, further destabilising oil prices and adding to the economic havoc from the war in Ukraine that's already caused much secondary human suffering while potentially creating the conditions for a much bigger and more dangerous confrontation. Iran's deepening alliance with Russia, after all, could draw Moscow into the war, turning the country into the second front of a global proxy battle between two nuclear superpowers, the United States and Russia, while adding a third nuclear power, Israel, into the volatile mix. Woohoo! Do you know what this situation needs? Diplomacy? Ongoing negotiations? Clear, cool heads and the willingness to look at humanity and the spiritual world as a whole? Yes, all of that. But also Israel and their nuclear weapons. We're not nearly there yet, but it's incumbent on all peace-loving people in the United States to work now proactively to stop this scenario from coming to pass, not just to ensure the past year's rhetoric about illegal wars, imperialism, human rights, and international law isn't mere, hollow, cynical posturing, but to prevent even more needless death and suffering. Unfortunately, what seems like collective disinterest in the US-Israeli march to war in the press and otherwise doesn't bode well for these efforts. So why are MSNBC, in this instance in the form of Rachel Maddow, saying, we can't show you Donald Trump? It's too dangerous. We have a news organization, have a responsibility. Trump could swear, he could say something crazy and maybe even amusing that'll make you like him too much. Is that a more significant priority than bringing on people that have financial ties to Lockheed Martin and Raytheon to advocate for and agitate for war with China over Taiwan, with Russia in a proxy war, in my view, over Ukraine, and potentially Iran over as yet to be determined issue that they'll just make up? What could have more negative impact on your life, on the planet? Is it wars with faraway lands that are frankly none of our goddamn business, or is it the easy charisma of Donald Trump and his ability to somehow reach people and make them believe that he might be part of the solution? So what you clearly have is a mainstream media that wants just enough Trump to keep us interested, but not enough Trump to take away votes from their war-loving, hypocritical, censoring, surveilling, lying affiliates in Washington. If they cared about dangerous information, they wouldn't put on shills for the military-industrial complex and call it the news. But that's just what I think. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, have a look at either of these. Turn on the notification bell, share this around. We're on every day on Rumble. I've got a comedy special, Brandemic, talking about the craziness of the last 3 years. It's uncensored, it's self-funded, it's available from the 25th of June. There's a link in the description. More important than any of that is that you please, if you can, stay free.